So I was like, okay, what will people think? And then one day I thought, and that's the question I invite you to take away from what I'm sharing. So that next time you wonder, what will people think? You will use that question. I was like, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Welcome to the inner space. This is for you if you need encouragement to be more yourself and explore your own path. Maybe because you feel different, too sensitive, or just not able to do things as everyone else seems to. There is a way, and it's your unique way. I'm Gloria Jansen. I am a coach, a healing artist, and a surfer. I am here to help you ride the waves of life, work, and business to find that deeper alignment with your creative and sensitive soul. If this feels like you, I invite you to know yourself better, feel all the emotions, and trust yourself so you experience the freedom and fulfillment of being and doing you. Subscribe now to catch the next wave to the inner space, where authenticity sets you free. Welcome in this new episode. This is for you if there is a question running through your mind, which is, what will people think? Especially as you want to move in a certain direction that you desire, that you feel is aligned, that you want more of, and then you are held back by this, what will people think? All of us have had that question come up, and how often it comes up tells you how much you care about what people think. And I want to tell you a story that happened recently to me and how I moved through this, what will people think? Because of course I encountered it many times. If I had to go back, I think the first time is actually when I had the burnout and I had to come back to work, and I was like, how do I present this experience I've had? Then I remember it happened when I decided to create my own business around coaching and starting to show up online, sharing messages, my photos, my voice, expressing myself. What will people think as I share this? And sometimes when I share some things, I'm like, especially when you're on the edgy side and it's a bit uncomfortable for you, that can run through my mind. I remember a big moment also where it happens in my life is the moment where I started to talk about my healing art and how the drawings I create are shifting people's internal state and the energy work I do. And because before I was very much in the coaching aspect, I was like, okay, taking a big breath and moving with it, but wondering what will people think. And I moved. And more recently, and that's the story I want to share with you, I prepared for a photo shoot in Barcelona with Farah Asif. If you're interested, I'm happy to share her work and the experience I've had. So I was like, okay, I hadn't done a brand shoot, a photo shoot for my business basically since I created it. So many years had passed and it was really time to get some new visuals. And as we were preparing for that shoot, I decided to work with Farah because it's a whole approach. It's not just taking pictures. And she guided me. She said, okay, that's what I feel is the color. And of course, when she shared with me the colors like blue, electric blue, I'm like, yes, of course, that's already the color of my brand. I love blue. Colors are super important for me. Of course, when you look at my art, you understand why. Very vibrant colors. Colors change how you feel, change frequencies. So I was happy about that. And then she told me, okay, that's the style I feel for you. And she showed some pictures. I was like, oh yeah, I like the dresses. And then I made my own research to find the dress that I would wear on that day for the photo shoot. And I came upon one dress which really had the color we were looking for, like vibrant electrical blue. But it was a very edgy dress. I was like, okay, I sent it to her, but already knowing it was not really the style she had proposed initially, it was very different. So I just sent it without expecting her to say, oh, yes, I love it. And then it was a process for a few days, even a bit more, week. I was like, okay, we had sort out different options. The fourth options was the safest one. I would have taken out my credit card and immediately would have bought the dress, thinking, that I'm going to wear again. The color is great, the dress is great, and it really looked beautiful too. But that dress, whew, it felt really edgy. And if you follow me on Instagram, also Facebook, Gloria Jensen Coaching, I will share pictures and videos, some clips, so you can see the dress. And of course, on my website in the next weeks and months, I will use these visuals. So you will understand what I mean as I talk. Basically, the dress is transparent. So it's like, do I really want to wear an almost transparent dress for a photo shoot, for my business? And in this moment where I didn't take out the credit card, order the dress, I was procrastinating because I felt that would stretch me more. But I was still, do I want to do and go towards that stretch? I tend to take the boldest decision I can because if I invest into something, if I move with something, I want to really go out into this, let's be bold and make it the most impactful. So it's like, okay, what will people think? And then one day I thought, and that's the question I invite you to take away from what I'm sharing. So that next time you wonder, what will people think? You will use that question like, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? You know, I was thinking I hadn't done the photo shoot yet, and I was like, if I wear the dress, some people will love it, some people will be, oh, why is she wearing that dress? Everyone will have their own opinion. Who cares? What I know is most of us, we are centered on our life, on what's happening, the challenges we might encounter, what we desire, what we enjoy, our family members, things happening in life. We don't spend most of our time thinking about other people. So I knew I was imagining myself like, okay, if I share this, I might be in the mind of some people for the second or the minute they read or watch it, but I don't believe I will stay forever there. That's one thing you can take away so that you let go of what will people think. The second one was, and that's a big one that I also share a lot with my client, is do I want to restrict myself, limit my experience of life based on potentially what people will comment, think, say? This is my life. So I'm not living my life because I'm afraid of what people will think and say. In the end, those people, they don't care. They will forget or don't even mind. And I'm there at the end of my life wondering like, oh, I didn't do that because I thought, what will people think? Like, how poor is that? How sad is that? So second aspect to take into account is this is your life. People won't think about it forever, almost maybe don't notice it, or it might, and that's my hope, of course, inspire them to move towards some parts of them that I reflected in the move you are doing and daring to do. And that will happen for sure. If you go towards something a bit stretchy and that leads you in an uncomfortable zone, you inspire other people to do it. And that's where we all move forward. So you're with me. I move from what will people think to who cares, knowing this is my life. And then I added another question, and that gives you also a feeling for how I work. From the moment I let go from who cares, I ordered the dress. Then I went full into the opposite spectrum. In the what will people think is like constricting yourself, adapting yourself, avoiding to disturb, have an impact that you don't control maybe on others. To okay, who cares? Like you move towards leaving the what will people think to the who cares, and then moving to the opposite spectrum. The question I ask myself is how free can I be? How free can I be? And that was the question that led me into the experience of the photo shoot, into like, I completely let go of what will people think of, who cares. I didn't care at all. And I just went full into the experience, into the feeling I wanted to transmit through the photos we took, and also the experience I wanted to make. That's also a leading question I propose to my clients in Alive Creator, which is my 7-month mastermind, where you activate really your creator ability to create what you desire in your life. And I always say having as much fun in the process than the result. The result are the pictures. That's one reason for going into that. But the experience, like how can it count as much as the result? And so as I did the photo shoot, I was like, how can I make this experience fun? If that's something you desire for your life, like this mastermind I Love Create is really for you, I will put the links in the show notes. And as I did the photo shoot, I really focus on how much fun can I have and how free can I be in my expression. And then let's see, the pictures and what comes up. I so enjoyed this moment. And as I did that, of course, I discovered new parts of myself, and I know I'm going to show and express something completely different that wasn't there before. Fast forward, I did these pictures as well to have fresh energy and especially to reflect more who I have become in the last years because I did a big transformation and I want to reflect in what I do, really what happens behind the scenes, like with my clients and the private calls and the intimate spaces I have, so that when people come into my world, they either listen to the podcast, they come to my website and they're like, okay, this is a space of transformation that I am interested in. So I worked really on all the intention I have with these pictures. And after it, because I'm going to work on my website, I was having the pictures in mind, and I haven't even seen most of them as I record this episode, but I know how I felt inside as I did it. And then the sentences started to drop for the new website or the refresh I'm going to do. And these are the lines that dropped so that you can feel if actually my world is for you. And I want to transmit you this question of how free can you be through a sensation. Like, how have you ever, I hope so, if you haven't, that's the task for today. Did you ever swim in the ocean, in the sea, in the water, being naked? How was that sensation? Did you ever walk barefoot in the grass or maybe in a city, in a place where everyone wears shoes? How did it feel for you? Have you ever been able to completely manage your time as you want during a day, weeks, months, maybe more, depending on how your work life is set up, where you can decide, everyone is in a 9 to 5 and has to do that, and you can decide to, okay, I'm actually going for a surf session, or I'm going to exercise while everyone is working, or I'm going to be at the swimming pool, like doing something that is extraordinary because it's not what everyone is able to do. Maybe it's something else for you. It's spending time with your children, not being in a meeting, just having full ownership of your time or having full management of your time to spend your time as you desire in your own rhythm. There is a sense of freedom. How free can I be? Let's move into the sensation through the images I gave to you. How free do you feel in these experiences? And that was what led me. The question I want to hand over to you, because this is the transformation I propose to my clients. I know everyone I work with leave with a sense of freedom. Many people say, okay, I feel fully free when I'm with you. And of course, I bring this then in the outer world to be who I am. I feel finally free. I have the permission, the authorization, the validation to be really myself and do it my way, discover my own way of doing things. Freedom is such a big transformation I provide and that I love. Freedom is a big word for me, for many of my clients. So, how free can you be? Let me know how this exact steps I shared with you and questions shift the way you are approaching one of the projects you are into right now, professional, personal, the lifestyle you desire. When you think, what will people think? Who cares? And how free can I be? Do you feel the polarity and how it moves you in a higher energy to support you moving into your project in your freest version? And if you want support to be that freest version and know how it looks like, because sometimes we forget our nature, our essence, and we need really support in feeling safe to be free because we've experienced things in a certain way. And I'm thinking back about a session I had very recently with a client where we removed the feeling she was living with when she was allowing herself to be free, actually, which was guilt or shame. Some people will feel ashamed, but guilt is an emotion many know. And then it's like we removed the guilt through the work. And then suddenly that person was like, oh, I don't know how, it feels so unknown. I don't know, how do you move in your life when there is not guilt? What's the driver if it's not guilt? And it's so interesting because you get so used to a certain way of being and experiencing life that when it's not there anymore, it's like, oof. And for that person, like we moved with, if my driver is curiosity, freedom, desire, passion, interests, instead of moving out of guilt. So if you want support around being your freest version, allowing yourself, allowing is a word that comes to me as I record this, allowing yourself to be that, you are in the right place. I will put the link to the mastermind if you want. You can just message me to see what would be the best way to support you. I wish you a beautiful day. How free can you be? Let me know the impact. Thank you for joining the inner space. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with someone who might need exactly this encouragement. And until next time, keep exploring your inner space, where authenticity sets you free.